In measure 25, this is your biggest dynamic. So this is where you should be the loudest you can be and feel successful with that. I think you're going to have the highest gestures, and that will also help. The visual will add to the fact that you're being loud, I think. So just a really high point, aim all of your dynamic thoughts towards these two measures, and I think that will create a nice peak to this particular piece. In measure 26, I think you have to do a gentle muffle, and there's a couple different ways that you can do it. I think maybe in the performance that you saw me do when I got to beat 3 of measure 26, I think I might have used both hands. And again, I'm just trying to take away as much of the ring of the drum as I can, but I'm not trying to be so aggressive with it that you hear a big sound. One of the things that you can work with in your muffling is what's called a rolling finger muffle. And the way that you think about that is as your hand is being placed on the drum, you start with your pinky finger, and then you roll down your ring finger, and then your middle finger, and by just gradually coming onto the drum and a little bit of a swiping motion, that will help you mute the drum and minimize the amount of sound that might happen if you just didn't do that or just went right into the drum head and tried to stop it. So working on that rolling finger muffle is a way to do it. I think you might have also heard that in the dampening that I did really throughout the piece, I'm not so concerned to take away all of the sound. I just want to reduce the sound as much as I can, and any of the sound that's left over I feel is probably better than having a dead stop if the dead stop means that I made this huge finger sound. So I'd rather minimize the sound of my fingers on the drum by taking away as much of the sound as I can without having that buzzing or zippy type of sound if I try to muffle too quick. So again, it's just a personal preference. You might feel differently. And again, the main thing is just to try to make a decision. But you want to dampen something in measure 26 because measure 27 starts your mezzo piano. And from that point on, you have 4 different dynamics that you have to show. You have to show a mezzo piano, a pianissimo, and finally 3 Ps that would be your softest dynamic in the piece. So if there's a lot of sound ringing in measure 26, it will be hard to actually show those dynamics, I think, successfully. Now, the final 2 measures of the piece, I think I'm glad it's part of the piece because it shows your role. It shows a dynamic variation from basically soft to a medium loud back to soft. I think also it can show a musical maturity in the way that you end the piece. I'm willing to bet that if many people would end this piece and they would do their roll, and then they would just stop, and then they just kind of fall out of themselves. They just kind of move or something that doesn't seem very artistic. So again, on the performance that you saw that I actually held my position for a while. I let the drum ring for a while, and then when it's finally getting pretty soft, then I wipe away that sound, and then I looked at the camera or looked at my audience, and I showed them that I was now done. So don't end the piece before it's time to end. I would recommend having a sense of something what I just described in the way that you would perform the piece too, because you've gone to some effort to perform. You want to have this nice end to it that makes it seem just even more musically, I guess, skilled. So if you can show nice starts and nice endings to what you do, I think it will show you in a higher light.